eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. Little light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, won't you let the light shine through?
Okay. Alright. Shit. Fuck. Fucking mine. Alright. Um. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. We're here. We're here, baby. What's up, everybody? Let me just turn off these things since we're on YouTube, right? We're on YouTube today, so we don't need any of those shits. Alright, we just need this. Um, Jeez, I dropped a lot of frames, but we're on basically preparation time, so that don't really matter, right? Alright, so today, I'm gonna react to basically anything that I feel like watching, or what the chat feels like watching, and they claimed the rights to the latest video. Cause I was actually gonna talk about Abbas and Preach's we were talking about Abbas and Preach's video. Fuck. Alright, I guess fuck that then. Let's see here. What's going up on Star Trek? Oh yeah, I forgot. I have my I have the Opera GX installed ad blocker. So whenever it skips whoever has a scene, it'll just fucking be silent.
Alex Kurtzman has done untold damage to Star Trek.
How has everything become so toxic? It used to be that if you were a fan of Star Trek, you liked Star Trek.
No money, socialist.
Yeah, well, obviously, George R. R. Martin, times change. Okay, times change. So people are going to compare the pieces of media to other pieces of media, since we have the access and the availability of doing that. So just get with the times, George R. R. Martin. And freaking finish your books. Fuck.
Utopia thing turns out to be a fad.
Now it seems like half of the people who call themselves Star Trek fans hate Star Trek.
George R. R. Martin, you can only say for any fucking series, right? You can say for anything. You can say for any fucking series that half of them are disliking. And why do people dislike Star Trek? What happened with Star Trek to where people now are starting to realize, oh God, it's going to shit.
Maybe it's because it's changing.
When you got your dramas, one of these days we'll repay you, we'll slay you.
What the hell?
She's pretty fast.
They're fast. They, not she. I've never felt like a she.
Whether that be through discovery.
Not. I guess this is what this is what this nigga's talking about here.
This conversation's over. This is the end of the conversation.
Captain, if I could.
You can't.
Right, but I had this as
The conversation's over.
Or strange new worlds.
The logical move would be to surrender.
I think there's more to life than logic, and so I suspect you.
I'm
Captain
Christopher Pike. That's me. Computer and program? Never mind.
The content has been constantly getting worse.
Pew, pew, pew button.
I don't see a pew 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 button.
Just hit them all until it goes pew, pew.
This is from a man who seems to understand Star Trek. He can describe it when asked. To love Star Trek is to love abstruse science, cowboy diplomacy, complex moral dilemmas, and questions about the meaning of existence. It's ultimately a show about the most amazing vision of optimism ever to be put on screen in science fiction. All you need is 2 minutes on the news. Hopeless now. Now, Star Trek is honestly the best bomb you could ever hope for. But despite this, none of his shows match what he's talking about.
On your knees, Spock.
And many people may say Star Trek is dead already, but I question how it can be, when it's about to get much, much worse.
Okay, ladies, now let's get information. I say.
Unless you believe in necromancy, in which case, fair enough. Because at SDCC, we got a load of trailers and panels describing what's next for Star Trek. You may have thought that Paramount was about to run out of money. Oh no, no. They are doubling down on everything Kurtzman. Because on the one hand, we have Section 31, and on the other, we have the King of Cringe. Actually, I'm not sure I could use that title. It describes them both. How did they describe it again at SDCC?
Why don't we just say that it's the first live-action Star Trek comedy?
Woo! I think we'll start with that. Section 31 can come afterwards, because if I have an aneurysm talking about it, I won't be able to finish the video. The live-action comedy panel was a disaster right from the start.
Remember how that lady was like, yo, we need some more black people, Star Trek?
Yeah, that's what she said verbatim.
That was interesting.
We've already got a level of the comedy which is going to be told here, and I use comedy not only in inverted commas, but also with every ounce of English condescension I can physically manage. This is going to be the level of comedy.
It's an interesting thing that she brought up.
Yeah.
Right?
It was interesting.
Alex, don't you think that's interesting as well?
I think it's really interesting.
The entire panel is done this way, and they keep referring to the fact that we're going off script here.
And now this is super off script. I do want to say one quick thing about my friend Alex here.
This is scripted. This is their comedy. This is what they think is funny. We are really aiming at that 69 IQ demographic, aren't we? You know, the only 69 in the entire universe, which isn't nice.
All right, guys. Got something to tell you. Tawny and I are pregnant.
Wait, what?
You have to remember, all of this is done in front of a live audience. It should have a built-in laugh track. Still not funny, even when they're telling you when to laugh. Many people have said that The Big Bang Theory is a show about clever people, written by stupid people, for stupid people. I think this is worse.
I gotta say, dear white people, whether or not you're afraid of the title, I don't know, what y'all been watching.
Oh yeah, sorry, did I forget to mention that? This is from the writer of apparently Dear White People.
The show is racist.
Black people can't be racist. Racism describes a system of disadvantage based on race.
Oh, sorry, are you afraid of the title? I'm not afraid of it, I just think it explains everything I need to explain about you. The title is basically intellectual shorthand for you're a and as ever, we find out what's really important about Star Trek to them. They've obviously been fans their entire life. These are the biggest Trekkies you're gonna find this side of the universe.
Plus, what, like, new fan doesn't dream of writing tracks? New fan.
When they get surprised, they start swearing in Klingon.
I don't really do hour-long. It's not my wheelhouse. It's not my genre. I love half-hour.
And so obviously, in their TV show, what they want to bring is an authenticity to the Star Trek universe.
I just feel like I've never been more ready to put my stamp on this universe.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at something. Yeah, okay. 555 deal. Okay, buy a regular price medium or large pizza and get up to free 2 medium toppings for $5 each. Okay. Alright, I know what deal she's talking about. Okay.
And that's what we're gonna do. That's what me and Justin are gonna do together.
Sorry, did I say authenticity? I meant it's all about me, folks. It's about me and my stamp, and that may be Star Trek, but I don't care about that. I want to stamp it with my face. What's that? Decades-old IP? It's not as important as me, though, is it? Have you seen me? I mean, come on. Nothing could possibly be more important than me.
Ready to put my stamp on this universe?
Star Trek will just be better if it's done in my
Your stamp? What the fuck do you mean by that?
image. And just in case I hadn't
that sounds very grand to say that I'm putting my stamp on the Star Trek universe. The show has been going on for well, the franchise has been going on for decades now with all these other shows and comics and books and shit. Yeah, I'm gonna put my stamp on it.
Convinced you with their earlier scripted comedy sequences about just how funny these people are. Well, let's hear them describe a TV show in their hilarious manner.
People on a thing, shenanigans. Uh-oh.
And I know you might need to go to hospital, those sides will be splitting, but come on, calm down a second. Don't take a drink of water or you will ruin your computer monitor, because what she's about to say is about to make Ricky Gervais quit comedy.
How about this? Shenan me once, shame on me. Shenan me twice, you best believe I'm going shenan again.
In shame that this is what his industry has been reduced to. And continuing the comedy, but also giving a bit more information, every TV show has a target demographic. See if you can work out who that is with this joke.
How about this? Vibes.
That's it.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Vibes.
If you were thinking people with no kids, cats, and depression who have under 70 IQ, then you're either the smartest man alive or have just been paying attention to Hollywood over the last 10 years.
Why don't we just say that it's the first live-action Star Trek comedy?
Woo! Because let's face it, if you ever wanted that to work, you would have needed somebody on the same quality level of Rowan Atkinson. Or just watch The Orville. Just watch The Orville. It's way better. Although after the first few episodes, not really much of a comedy. Just more of an honest Star Trek show than Kurtzman's. By the way, this clip from Strange New Worlds, I didn't touch the music, I swear. No, seriously. These people are wearing the skin suit of Star Trek.
People, shenanigans. Uh-oh.
Everything I once found dull now seems to be fascinating.
What can I say? People with a lower IQ, far more easily pleased. Strange New Worlds really is highbrow entertainment.
Wow, your ears are so pointy.
Yes, at the panel, they released 5 minutes of footage from Strange New Worlds. This was a clip that they selected. They thought it was the best thing to showcase their new series. And what were they doing in it? Yes, crapping on Spock again.
4 1/2 Vulcans to beam down. Energize.
This is something that Strange New Worlds does all the time. They're obsessed with telling Spock that actually logic isn't the correct way of being. Just give in to your emotions and, you know, like a child does. Yeah, just act like a scared little girl. Some may question why they're obsessed with this idea, but I think it's simple enough. Spock embraces logic. Stoicism. Stoicism is inherently masculine, and as Hollywood is obsessed with destroying that so they can embrace weakness and emotions. Oh, it's your feelings which are more important. Obviously, they despise Spock and have to humiliate him in every turn.
Ironic, because I was constantly reminded that I was logically the least Vulcan member present.
This came to a head in my favourite episode of the series, where a woman, in the Shakespearean sense of the word, appeared into the show to seduce Spock.
The logical move would be to surrender.
I think there's more to life than logic, and so I suspect you.
To tell him that he doesn't need to embrace logic, his emotions are what matters most.
I urge you to consider.
Yeah, but even though that's like most of Spock's character is to be, well, I don't know if it's the same guy, I don't know if it's the same character, but he is mostly just logic. That's how he rolls. That's how his character is.
Consider that you do not
Kind of
need
hard
to
to try
be
to break that.
either Vulcan or human.
And that actually he's suppressing the true side of him.
I tell him to stop worrying if he was being too emotional, too logical. I wish he would have let himself be scared.
And all those pesky rules about how you're supposed to behave, those don't matter. No.
The question isn't what you are, it's who you are.
How you feel is the most important. Have you considered going to therapy and having a little cry?
All species put things into boxes. Sometimes we act a certain way to fit people's expectations.
Who you feel you should be is the most important.
That's not necessarily who we are.
This thinking led to the new clip where the crew are giving a serum which turns them into Vulcans.
Emotions feel
I cannot handle.
Except they're not really Vulcans, they were just given a serum. That doesn't stop them claiming that they're true Vulcans. Far more Vulcan than Spock is.
Spock is only half Vulcan, whereas the four of us
Are fully Vulcan.
Who then agrees.
Is that not logical?
Indeed, it is.
A group of invaders arrive who then claim that
Gee, they love to shit on Sparkus. Holy shit, bro. They love to shit on him. What the fuck? No mercy on him.
as you are. I can't imagine what you're possibly referring to. The thing with Strange New Worlds is they desperately try to give people a message. They're just too thick to be subtle about it. What I love most about modernity is trying to get indoctrinated by my lessers. But the clip continues in a very predictable way of them just being far better than Spock is at Spock stuff. And then Spock being like, obviously, I'm really emotional about this. I don't like it. And then they can't get turned back to their normal species. And so Spock, I can't believe we're going to have to put up with this.
It appears that we will remain Vulcans indefinitely.
I don't know why we need a live-action comedy Star Trek when it seems like we've already got one, and the current one isn't funny either. Which brings me to Section 31. Now
Wait, don't they have a cartoon that's like a fucking comedy? I'm pretty sure they have a fucking adult comedy on Star Trek. So they have the animated one. What's happening? What's going on? Why do they need a live-action one now as well?
We have had quite a lot of information about Section 31 in this article. All of it was bad. But the interesting thing about this article is the attitude that they said they were taking to the series and the rest of Star Trek. Namely, you cannot create new fans to the exclusion of old fans. You must serve your primary fan base first, and you must keep them happy. This is one of the most important steps to building new fans, says Kurtzman. For everything in this video, just bear this paragraph in mind. Because
that doesn't make any sense. Wait, hold on. You cannot create new fans to the exclusion of the old fans. You must serve your primary fan base first and must keep them happy. That's one of the most points of steps to building new fans. So that didn't make any sense. Wouldn't it be to make the primary fan base, the old fans, happy, and then that can also maybe bring new fans down the line? This is already contradicting itself.
Says Kurtzman. For everything in this video, just bear this paragraph in mind. Because in Section 31's case, even the panel got off to a great start.
Now, this is a really different, totally different kind of Star Trek, and I am totally not vamping.
He was stalling for someone else in the room to play a video of Michelle Yeoh.
I'm so excited for Section 31 that
I couldn't even be bothered to turn up to the panel. Huge fan of the series I am. I'm not going to do any marketing for it. No. I recall a Zoom call. How about that?
I hope you can keep a secret. I know I can.
The secret is that this show is going to be shit. My favourite bit, because I hated the rest of the panel, is when they asked Kurtzman,
why did we want to do a Star Trek movie?
It's like, he didn't. Originally, the project was announced as a TV series, but after various delays, it wasn't going to happen until there was the phenomenon of everything everywhere all at once. And then we thought maybe we should just do a movie and then hope that that's successful enough that we could make the series we're always going to.
Yeah.
If you guys like it, we'll end up doing more of these movies.
This does lead
Why not make it a TV series? Everyone, Everywhere, and Everything All at Once was actually a good movie. So you're gonna say, hey, just since that movie did well, we can assume that we did well too. No, that's not good. No.
That's means
Just
making
no.
a rather horrific term.
Because this is spy-fi, right?
No thanks, I think we can cancel that one before we start. Cheers. And while I do agree with his next statement,
The idea of doing a spy movie in the world of Star Trek is super interesting.
we've already had this in the series. We know what Section 31 are, we know how they act, and we know it's not this.
You're Section 31. Section 31. Section 31. 31.
And no matter claiming that it's canon, will make it so.
Because Rachel Garrett's in there, we tie very specifically into canon and Star Trek.
Your statements around this movie are literally disproved by just watching Star Trek.
It does have a different tone. It's very fun.
The words fun and Section 31 don't even belong in the same paragraph. And the fact that you don't understand that is why you shouldn't be allowed near the IP.
We are almost finished editing it, and it is just a ride from beginning to end. It's very, very fun.
Yes, he doubles down on it, and to be fair, that's not the worst thing that's said about the show. There have been bad things said previously, but the worst thing ever said is about to appear.
I will say Guardians of the Galaxy on steroids.
Describing anything related to Section 31 as Guardians
the
of the
Galaxy.
Galaxy 3 on steroids is like watching CW Flash with the intro, I'm Barry Allen, the most retarded man alive.
Which is not. Yeah, everyone knows Barry Allen's fucking smart, but that is no. And it's so funny too, because they're comparing like actually pretty good movies to this movie. So they're gonna say, hey, this movie it has high expectations because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was actually it's pretty good. Everything All at Once is pretty good as well. So funny how it's conveniently choosing the good movies, right, to trying to hype up this shit.
Humor. You have a love story somewhere in there, if you guys want that.
The show has humor.
If you guys want that. So.
And I love. This is supposed to be Section 31. It's supposed to be a spy show. And not only do you completely not understand what Section 31 is, I'm not sure you even know what a spy show is. If you're going to make a spy show, you should at least be forced to watch Spooks on the BBC. It had a horrible tagline, MI5, not 9 to 5, but it was an excellent show. Instead, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and a comedy. What do you want to bet the odds are? It's not funny.
I've never done stunts like I've done in this movie. Fighting, jumping, sitting down.
Or stop.
That is okay. Fighting, jumping, sitting down. Can you please explain? Can you please like try to elaborate a tiny bit on what the fuck you're talking about? Because those are pretty basic. I think the only one that's the toughest one's what? Fighting, sitting down is pretty basic.
Star Trek. Yes, it's going to be a messy Star Trek.
And what Alex and Tuni wanted from us was to make a messy version of the Star Trek world. And so what you have is a beautiful mess.
That's what you were
Is that a good thing? A beautiful mess. That's a juxtaposition. But okay.
Associate with Section 31, right? Messy. These are the people that most of the Federation had never heard of. The rest of them thought it was a myth, and it was only a few of the top brass that even knew they existed, and then just turned a blind eye to them. And you have people in the trailer going, I'm from the Federation to make sure you don't kill people.
Spy work. Starfleet is here to make sure no one commits murder.
The Federation didn't acknowledge them, let alone go with them on missions. These were the people in the darkness that you understood you needed, but still despised. And instead of all of this, instead of this darkness and depth, instead of this complexity.
No, there's a Mother's Basement video saying, oh, why we love Konosuba, but I don't need a video to tell me why I love Konosuba. I know why I love Konosuba. I don't need a video to tell me that. I'm not gonna watch that.
Actual intelligent storytelling, what has replaced it within the Star Trek universe?
Michelle's brat. You heard it here, guys. Michelle is brat.
Yes, Michelle is brat. The main actress is brat. I don't have enough condescending bile to give that statement the weight it deserves.
Hold on a second. Because I heard that phrase before, but I never heard it used in a sentence. I guess use Urban Dictionary, right? An unapologetic party or messy girl aesthetic. Okay. Basically, it's basically someone who doesn't give a shit. Or people who don't give a shit. Because it's an unapologetic party. So I'm guessing that, yeah, it's probably like, Yeah, it's a person that doesn't really give a shit. Basically, they do what they want in a way.
This show might be the greatest example of perfect disaster, made by people that don't even understand what it is, created from a series that was cancelled just because somebody won an Oscar, and put together by seemingly imbeciles, while revolving around a topic that's so deep it's simply beyond them. These people are incapable of understanding the content that they're trying to make, trying to replicate, and a main actress who doesn't even understand the role she's playing herself. Section 31, a spy thriller that the Oscar winner characterizes as Mission Impossible in space. Section 31 is not Mission Impossible. It's nothing like Mission Impossible. And so I'll leave you with Past Me, because quite frankly, I don't think I can give a better explanation than I've already done. Mission Impossible itself is very much just good versus evil. There isn't really moral quandaries involved, certainly not contemplating the meaning of existence. The issue is, Section 31 is a moral quandary. That's the only reason they exist as a plot point.
I admit it takes exceptional people to do what we do.
Yes, the kind of cool spies and stuff, but the idea is, what happens if you have the Federation, something which is incredibly principled and stands by it?
We believe in the same principles that every other Federation citizen holds dear.
How does that survive in a world of darkness?
And yet you violate those principles as a matter of course, in order to protect them.
Does it need monsters lurking in the shadows who are willing to get down in the filth to create a world that they could never live in?
We deal with threats to the Federation that jeopardize its very survival.
Michelle's Brad. You heard it here, guys. Michelle is Brad.
This is the kind of question you also saw in other things, like Serenity. It's like, well, what will you ever do if you create your utopia? Well, the guy creating it couldn't live in it. Because you can have your high and mighty principles, but at some point you're going to run into people who don't care.
If you knew how many lives we've saved, I think you'd agree that the ends do justify the means.
And when you run into a monster, it might be necessary that somebody's willing to get down in the dirt and fight them.
For God's sake, help us.
People are going to die.
And yet somehow, I just can't seem to care.
Rather than having the rest of the leadership going, I would rather lose than engage in behavior that makes me the same as them, I won't be dragged down to their level.
Bound by my oath and my conscience to uphold certain principles.
Section 31 were the ones that went, I will.
How many lives do you suppose you've saved? Do you suppose those people give a damn that you lied to get into Starfleet Medical?
They will sacrifice their morality so that you can keep yours. That is one hell of a moral quandary.
I'm not afraid of bending the rules every once in a while if the situation warrants it. And I don't think you are either.
Should you allow them to exist, despite the fact they contradict your morality, because without them, you couldn't have it in the first place.
You make it sound so ominous.
Isn't it? You function as judge, jury, and executioner, and I think that's too much power for anyone.
All of this is wrapped up in Section 31, and then the main actress comes out and goes, well, you know, it's like Mission Impossible in space. I'm not saying that the people currently in charge of Star Trek are shallow and low IQ, but some people might. I think I just had a mental break. Wait, why is she talking to Bane in this picture? You think bad television is your ally, but I was born in the television. Molded by it. The Black Ops organization has been controversial. Not with me, though. I like the stories, but I've always liked the whole, if you want a paradise, then something has to underpin it, and it's not going to be something of that paradise. Because it doesn't matter how good you are, there is going to be a darkness that wants what you have. Someone is going to have to fight it.
We deal with threats to the Federation.
Yep, and you're gonna have to fight it, even if it means being as similar to them. Hey, at least this shit. Oh, okay. Alright. I'm not super familiar with Star Trek. I have watched a few episodes and shows here and there, and like movies and shit. So I'm not completely familiar with Star Trek. But this Section 31 sounds pretty good. I might watch this one day.
That jeopardize its very survival.
It's like the Prime Directive. Just because you won't mess with the planet doesn't mean that your enemies won't, and then get them to turn against you. Places like Section 31 are your defense against that. The concept is almost antagonistic to the values of Star Trek.
We believe in the same principles that every other Federation citizen holds dear.
That's exactly the point. That is the complex moral dilemma. That is why Star Trek is good, because it builds in these kind of questions. But he saw Section 31 as an opportunity to broaden what Star Trek is, while embracing the radical inclusivity at the heart of the franchise. That's not what Star Trek is about. The Federation isn't even inclusive. It's actually very exclusive. Inclusivity is the destruction of standards. The Federation had standards like the Prime Directive. There are many Star Trek episodes where it's like, we want to join the Federation. Like, well, you can't do that.
Your
concerned that the cats are going to be admitted to the Federation. I think I can promise you that is not going to happen.
Well, but why? Well, you're going to have to obey this rule, this rule, this rule, this rule, this rule. And if you don't obey these rules, you're not coming in.
A deeply troubled world. Social, political, military problems that they have yet to resolve.
Michelle's brat. You heard it here, guys. Michelle is brat.
Radical inclusivity would be, yeah, sure, we'll have anybody. That would also include Section 31. Section 31 wouldn't be in the darkness under radical inclusivity. Like, we'll embrace evil too. What's that? You have no intention of following the Prime Directive? That's okay. We'll still have you in the Federation.
Driven by suspicion, deviousness, and paranoia.
What a load of nonsense. Who is that Sweeney? Who's Sweeney? Screenwriter Craig Sweeney. Oh no. So the screenwriter for Section 31 is under the impression that Star Trek embraces radical inclusivity, and he's going to be putting that...
That's not an issue with like adaptations of like a franchise or like a book or something. If the director or the screenwriter here's what, if the producer, director, or any person with a lot of power are not familiar with the source material, they should not be touching it. First, when George R.R. Martin hired Ryan Condor, or is it Condor or Candor? I think it's Candor. It is because that he's familiar with the Game of Thrones universe and he has read the book before. Fire and Blood. That's why George R. R. Martin approves of Ryan Condor being the fucking being the lead guy, being the lead fucking director. I think if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure he's the producer or director. I know he's one of these positions, but that's why he chose him, because he is familiar with the material. If the top guys are not familiar with the source material that you're adapting, or the material that you're making this show based off of, or the universe based off of, you should not be touching it at all.
Into the entire movie.
It is the opinion of this officer that they are not ready for membership.
That's what they're embracing. How are you supposed to have something about the most complex moral dilemma in Star Trek and not understand what Star Trek is? And likely won't understand what morals are either. This argument is basically the same one that I keep using in clips.
Star Trek was woke from the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit more diversity and everyone's kicking off about it.
Maybe it's not the fans which are the problem. Maybe it's your complete inability to understand Star Trek that you're making, which is the issue. Famously, there's a spot for everybody in his utopia. Yes, which includes being outside the Federation.
Driven by suspicion, deviousness, and paranoia.
So what would you do to the people that don't quite fit in?
It is the opinion of this officer that they are not ready for membership.
Do you mean like all the people they wouldn't allow in the Federation?
Hold on. You need to... Oh yeah, what if I do? What's this in my hair? Okay, I'm sorry. It is... I'm looking at some dreadlocks on subreddit. It looks like within your hair is probably like sebum, which is, or some type of lint, right? Yeah, detox. Yeah, you need to detox it if you want to get the lint build up and like the sebum out of it. Yeah. You need a detox. Yeah, it looks like lint or like build up. Cause like my first set of dreads, I've had this before because I used it. I used a lot of not a lot of it, but I used quite a bit of I used a bit of products and shit to like poof out my hair and like get my hair more tangly. So like as a result, and obviously a couple of lint as well, you get like light spots, like kind of like white spots on your dreads. You need to detox it for sure. So with my set I'm doing right now, I'm not using any products. So the thing I'm using is I'm not using any hair products except the ones that clean my hair. Like a natural conditioner or shampoo or something, like a all natural shampoo or conditioner. I'm not putting any product. I'm not putting any product in there. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and when you have like white spots, like lighter spots in the dreads and stuff, that's because either lint or it's product buildup. And I've had this on my dreads before. I didn't have a lot of it because most of my dreads were pretty thin, but like I remember a couple of dreads in my hair. When you really pay attention to it, you can see like the buildup. So yeah, that's just the result of buildup that she has in her hair. You probably need like detox or some shit. Anyways, I'm sorry, that's completely irrelevant to what I was doing right now. I was looking at I got a notification from subreddit about dreads and shit, and she had problems with with her new twist, and she had like white spots. But those are just need a detox. That's all.
Federation. The Borg aren't joining the Federation, nor any of the people that
Hold on a second.
Which is things like the ownership of people. But I didn't want to do backbiting and shades of grey. I wanted to do it where the people were on the edges, out in the field, on the margins, you might say. I have a feeling I can see where this is going. No one will get specific about budgets, but Kurtzman says that Section 31 costs so much less than you'd ever make a Star Trek movie for, because Paramount doesn't have the money anymore, and Kurtzman's failures haven't helped that. Kurtzman always references $100 million movies, so we just have to reverse engineer how to do that without money. We don't have this money or time, so how can we do that? Season 3 of Discovery was exciting, because every time we would make a decision, we would say, and now that's canon, you self-aggrandizing tart. I really liked doing this season because I got to write canon.
I just feel like I've never been more ready to put my stamp on this universe, and that's what we're gonna do. That's what me and Justin are gonna do.
Yeah, whatever. That just sounds very that sounds very arrogant. Nah, the biggest stamp on that universe will forever be Patrick Stewart. Alright? Patrick Stewart, no one will ever have a bigger impact on the series, on Star Trek, than Patrick Stewart. Watch Piers Morgan's face after reading this Elon Musk quick word for word. What did Elon Musk say? I'm pretty sure this is the reference to the AI Kamala Harris speech, right? The parody. Hold on a second.
Dessa, you're not laughing. Did you not find any of this funny?
Keep in mind, no, at this point, no, I'm sorry. Oh my God, it was a mock assassination. Yeah, parody, come on.
Alrighty, y'all. I'm sure most of you've already seen this hilarious Kamala campaign parody by now, but just in case you haven't.
Yo, people actually got so mad. I'm like, Democrats got so mad because some people were actually mispronouncing her name. People say Kamala, some shit like that. People actually got some news reporters actually got mad about the mispronunciation of her name. Like,
don't worry, I'm gonna let that entire thing roll after we hear from Piers Morgan. The way he rereads this response that Elon Musk gave to Governor Gavin Newsom of California is something you have to see. And it's all based on the backlash that Musk was getting from simply sharing a beautiful, brilliant, and very accurate piece of humor that was made by Mr. Reagan over on Twitter or X or however people are referring to it nowadays. But the best part of this little segment that I'm gonna share with you is destiny. Any grown man that goes along with that name and still allows people to address them as that at any point in their human existence, I don't think we can really consider them a man whatsoever. Now, I know that might be a little...
Oh, yeah, plus he got cucked. Yeah, he got cucked too, if I'm correct. Oh, goodness, yeah, so... Yeah, many people don't really respect him, especially what happened with his girlfriend and shit. Many people don't respect him.
Rude, and some people might get triggered, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, you can feel how you want to. I don't care. But I think it's very telling, his reaction to seeing this clip, to seeing this entire scenario play itself out. Y'all let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I'm very interested to know, but I'll stop talking. Let's get it poppin'.
Elon Musk actually reposted on X a doctored video featuring Kamala Harris. Her voice had been doctored by AI. Let's take a look at the clip first of all.
I, Kamala Harris, and your Democrat candidate for president, because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist.
Now, a number of issues from that. One is, on one level, it's just quite funny. It's a joke. It's a parody. But
yeah, and people actually get on Elon's case because he broke the policy and shit. But you do realize he owns he owns Twitter. So he can break how many rules he wants to. He does not care. Unless you buy Twitter off of him, he will own it. So he can break his rules however he wants it, 'cause he owns that shit.
But secondly, that video has now been seen 128 million times on Elon Musk's X account. He said this is amazing with a laughing emoji. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, told Musk to take it down, to which Musk replied, I checked with renowned world authority, Professor Sugon these nuts. And
these nuts?
Got
him!
Sorry, that is such that I've actually heard the same quote, and it's just so funny how a fucking billionaire was like, "Yo, go fuck yourself." Everyone knows the fucking parody, bruh. Who everyone knows the damn parody? That's fucking hilarious.
Suck on these
Suck
nuts.
on these nuts.
And he said parody is legal in America, which is a typical Elon Musk response.
That's actually hilarious, bro. I spoke with Professor Suck on these. Oh my gosh, man. It's so funny how billionaires can act like children sometimes, Bill. It's so funny.
So, Destiny, you're not laughing. Did you not find any of this funny?
Just as a keep in mind, no, at this point, no, I'm sorry. Just to keep in mind, okay, when the Twitter files were released, there was exactly one person from one administration that literally sent in a request for a tweet to be removed from a comedian lady because she called Trump a and that was Donald Trump. That is the only time we've seen a personal request for a tweet to be removed because they were unhappy with the
again. Oh, she was calling me. Hold on a second. I'm back.
language that was being used. That came from Donald Trump. So to turn around and be like, oh, it's so funny when they make fun of our side. Meanwhile, you got a guy who's talking about imprisoning Americans for burning the flag. Crazy. I thought Republicans were all about freedom of speech and the First Amendment. I just think that's absolutely hilarious. Also,
the issue is not only you burning the flag, you're putting a Palestinian flag up there as well.
I think it's very funny that Republicans and conservatives in general, the people of Pizzagate and QAnon and all these crazy conspiracies, have in real time, this is like the conservative wet dream conspiracy. You have the richest man in the world from another country who bought the largest social media platform for media news distribution. He made it private. He took it private, doesn't do reporting on anything anymore, and is now openly reposting AI deepfake images of left-wing candidates. Like, holy shit. It's like everything they accused George Soros of doing, except it's actually out in the open and they're actually doing it. They're all laughing about it. So I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a parody.
It's a parody. It's meant to be taken as a joke. It's a fucking parody, not the same thing.
Depressing kind of way.
Let me ask.
Hold on. It's a parody like when Snoop Dogg does a music video and Donald Trump is in it and Republicans are losing their mind over, oh my God, it was a mock assassination. Yeah, parody. Come on.
Well, yeah, they shot him in the head in the video. They shot him in the head.
Let me ask. Before we move on to all.
I, Kamala Harris, and your Democrat candidate for president, because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant.
We're talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. You think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Don't forget to hit that like button.
Yeah, clearly it's a fucking parody. You think Kamala Harris will be swearing in a fucking thing? That's hilarious.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to cover another round of VTuber-related drama.
Oh,
and as you
VTuber
can
drama.
see from the main protagonist here, we're not off to a great start. But before we get into the fine details of the situation, I want to give you a too long didn't read version of events to give you guys some greater understanding of what we're going to talk about here. So basically we have a situation where a VTuber by the name of Powder would call out another VTuber. As you can see, Powder has around 34,000 followers, and she would call out this VTuber named Lily, who also goes by the name Royalty, who has about 2,000 followers, a small fraction of what Powder has. Now, what Powder is doing is they are claiming that essentially Royalty ripped off all of their design and their concept as a VTuber as a whole, and are trying to ride on the coattails of their success. And when Royalty would release a Google Doc explaining their side of the situation, that there was no ill intent or a lot of things were just coincidences, and that they were even willing to change some of the details to accommodate Powder, Powder would then respond with basically a mean girl routine mocking the situation, and it made Powder look very bad. And I'm also going to hit you guys with
Back.
With kind of the money shot here. Here are the two models in question. We are comparing Powder on the left here to Royalty on the right. Now, as you can see, this person right here is kind of mocking the situation.
Same clothes. Oh, actually, okay, she's mocking it. Same clothes, horn color, hair color, ear jewelry, even a tattoo on the neck. Golly.
Basically, Powder is relying on the fact that these look the exact same, and on top of that, she is relying on the
different
thought
hairstyle
process that apparently she owns the concept of a white-haired elf with supernatural attributes, which is really crazy to say. I mean, like,
Powder owns the rights of a white elf a white-haired demon elf.
Make a call-out post on Free Rednecks. It's very strange. But let's get into the details of this situation. Here's Powder, as you can see. A demon or demon actually will be very important in a minute. So if you this vague but not so vague call post, I'm saying this. I come up and say that I'm aware that other VTuber is on part and well or name. I made efforts in the past to connect with both and VTuber, not much happened other than I was able to concern. You see receptions was pretty positive. So makes me 7 by the way. And they're with this saying, knowing what about the creation of the lookalike, I am disappointed, and I do question ethics. But overall, there is one power to not wish to bar people from inspiration, but I do wish people would be more creative. Obviously, a pretty serious set of statements. They're essentially calling the person a lookalike and trying to bring all their design. However, because of the not only the very direct, like I said, vague, not so vague call-out pose, and their history, Louis, aka Royalty, would know this post is about them, and they would make a Google Doc response here saying, "Hi everyone, I've been aware of the situation. Here's my response with seats, and I apologize for their concerns. Anyone had not confirmed any hate spread on behalf of this. I hope this clears the air." And this is again a Google Doc.
Hi everyone. I first want to thank everyone who has shown love and support for me and my debut design. Makes me happy to love that you love it so much as I do. As a convocation on social media since my model reveals, I've been only bits and pieces of what I've said by my artist Cherry and I. Since I'm not to post the I will. I apologize and consider it behind the scenes I'm supposed to defaming both Cherry and I feeling myself. I hate when everyone to be part of the drama. My skin color even had to post something like this or not playing with it against this game, and I apologize for the issues that not clear. First, I don't want any hate on the matter, whether that be towards me or anyone involved. Secondly, post of mine and share with DMs of Powder as well as share my DMs during my episode Powder as you see. Some bits have been cropped out for possibly because sharing my friends, they all talk about personal lives. Now, Jerry and I got Powder last year when I first revealed my redesign. We did attempt to make these concerns as well as explain my reason behind my look. First, I said I had my boy, I believe you, I apologize. After I showed a block,
Mary, the artist, had already contacted Powder a year ago about the situation when their resign at the time, and they attempt to even accommodate some of the concerns, but this all boiled down to saying, "You're just only." So some of the terms of this worthy. We don't have to come out that's combined with Damon.
Come on, anyways. Name. Anyone can use this? Walking this.
Which fits with the Damon program, which is the Damon. Now, I insist on this shared in the Google Doc. That term is saying, yes, it has a computer, but also a reference to demons in general and also some other supernatural beings. So it's not just a difference. She was right, but because that's not in her response. Demon concept, she did with long wire. That's a pretty classic among any VTuber. It has old English version of her lore concept. And then I would respond to sharing a so basically that they believe that Powder and this actually not. I don't necessarily believe you about motivating. I just want to avoid these types of views. I feel uncomfortable knowing who knew of the design process because apparently Royalty was following Powder at the time, which Powder meant that they knew them about things to differ account in their concept. Then we would see their responses from Powder saying that they thought it was too similar and these others attached to others. And in the future, if they were comparisons, they want to call it control. And they're nervous if they were Royalty, the design similar. And then basically end by saying there's room to apply either of these things basically to the various concepts behind Royalty's VTuber character. And they respond with a statement other artists as well, but they I'm sorry you feel the way you do, but I really don't know what to tell you, and I don't mean either, but I really don't appreciate basically being called a liar. I want to believe that no, but as you can see after I get my description, what that first time was me and I there were no references to you at all, and weren't even part of the process. And going forward, details and also it has demon or demon, and they're willing to change it to the regular spelling of demon to accommodate the concerns
of powder would reply by saying basically they appreciate this and it's sad decision and can be speculation that there's some sort of going on between these two and other life elements, and also add here to that I feel weird about this whole thing. And I'm trying to advise, but that's where we're at that Google Doc. That's essentially the majority of what's on there. And then we see who is the artist and we're behind on the concept. Release our own restate of the situation, and there's some DMs further clarifying where no intent and then respond to they try to seems like also mentioned this. Several points saw Powder mentioned they made a statement in the future felt the need to. And that's what it did. They published and seeing the Google Doc and a lot of the information being clarified, Powder would make a very ill-advised response based hours after Roy made her block, and it's much the video copyright music. Basically, it's like some weird TikTok type meme video where they're showing side by side models, actually trying to claim that there was sort of stealing the concept. And see based on comparing those original vague post. This one went badly. Both had 2,000 likes with only 7 quotes. This one has about 600 likes with over 100 votes. People saw the way this was framed into her responses and the replies, and came off email type breakout.
It costs petty. That's the issue.
Right in the front, she directly tagged the artist and the feature, so people can go to the bounce and also this kind of passive aggressive for you. And it's not very blunt. And you can see the first one was going positive for an hour or so. It was kind of like joking and that video was nasty work and got all replied saying the parasites in my head made me do it. I think it started breaking down. People started really thinking serious, kind of childish and immature. There's is not it. Why are you being so unnecessarily mean? Yeah. Powder's humor is a coping mechanism. The reply saying and getting us talk shit behind doors. But I hope she never sees it, so she isn't unnecessarily harassed. Or said. I tell her so it's a little too late. It doesn't want to see it. But of course, you reply saying, just delete it.
Yeah, it's fucking delete it.
But then the person sound mad. I think they still tweets saying, no, it's fine. And talk to them behind the scenes. What you need is, quite frankly, have professionalism brought on. Something as vague as the internet, you force all getting to fits. And she's like, oh, hey, she's in she's like, she sent you like, and the public this situation. And tell them to say, tonight I read a total of 7 Google pages between both sides. Like I say, bruh, just stop. Both adults because and move on. Always gonna leave here, no worries. I mean, damn, I'm doing a talk. Tomorrow's actually for Dark Souls, which is a weird stream plug. But yes, there are 2 Google Docs. Lost in this fray, they attached a Google Doc response to that video where they were basically trying to mock their situation they created for themselves. And in the doc, it's really not a lot. Basically, kind of just reiterating everything you know, trying to rely on speculation to bring the other parties reading off. This section is most telling. Let me read a section from her Google Doc saying, a message to the haters. You might look at me as some dumb here, but this is my job. I take it very seriously, and a lot of times I beat Toronto. Use it to stand out as possible. Don't have anybody. You're bullying a small company. I built my success in my...
Not weird. That's actually just fact. You're a smaller YouTuber.
Models, so I'm getting a little uncomfortable. I know exactly what it feels like to be a smaller account. I'm going to be uncomfortable when the design looks like my OC and all outfit. The warning is the same, color palette similar, the artist has similar styles to mine. They are acting all me. Oh, people are pointing at the studies about the whole process. I don't know, man. Math is math and me. You can call me track, but I ain't playing. I hope you cheat. You want it in the end. I'm not standing for being small to post this at a bad time. It's probably just help them so. Yeah, this is kind of coming off as a bit egotistical. I'm gonna be honest. Yes, you have some success as a YouTuber. You are not. You're acting like so high above every.
Yeah, like that, but yeah.
This type of leave. You own color palettes. They own concepts of the air or the term demon. It ain't much. And many V2 including self and others don't switch where someone has similar tattoos or content, but they do. And all you do is yourself. What you're simply off entirely. That's the situation you're But situations where people have similar concepts take inspiration from you, like a writing inspiration. That's why we have a situation where every time there's a new pink hair actor on scene, someone's telling her breath off mirrors. Someone comes out as a hot themed VTuber off of Shiley and so on and so forth. It's ridiculous whole thing.
They would do that for any fucking sorts of media, but oh, Asa's a rip-off Naruto. Like, people do that all the fucking time.
It's a own entire concept. Marketing of VTubers is so oversaturated. I can't even begin to understand. Okay, it is very oversaturated on concepts. But anyways, someone would call that section of the Google Docs saying it's weird. I would realizing it. The user said going around to playing criticism starts to help you in any hard. It's 4 a.m. Go to sleep. Takes us away from Twitter and you're privately like, thank you. I'll definitely consider that. You get some good rest. And this person says, I recommend doing it instead of just considering it. Where then, no, I'm a big girl now, and then the user says, act like one, and she replies to this, like, emo gift you're saying I'm so sad. It looks so childish. And then things would get worse when next morning, Laura would do a stream, and she next talk about the situation with Powder, and Powder would join the stream. Now today, in the replies of chat sayings like, somebody's opinion are too biased because they work the model, or the arc, but they would join in instead, and things would get really, really fast, and it's and as the Powder, going trickling down, all of their posting the sarcastic and quite frankly, some rude responses they had the past 4 hours, and you can see a large amount of push them towards the right response, and they still just make some pretty hinge rooks.
I defend harm from other people. I tend to myself that. I understand, but I'm going to get rid of this. I
would never make Tim harm me somebody else. You're like, I don't know. She recognized that. She acted a little, and,
no, I feel like I have to, emotionally, I regret it, but no, am I currently emotional about it? No, but, to always, no,
I should. But, you know, that's on you. If you want to do that is up to you.
Right.
Or just do that, you know what I mean? Like, it sucks, but I think I would probably take that response, but I understand that is your
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think that anything to help the situation. In fact, I think the response is during the situation measure, come back here, and even though you apologize, recognize your mistakes, make this work is take down that most recent post, write down all posts, and simply it's something that's like an audio or something that looks like you're trying to condemn the rest of the VTubers. But for now, that's it. Obviously, we're dealing a lot of jacks. People are entitled to their own opinions, so I'd be glad to hear what you guys have to say about this.
I think it's fine to call out someone, but I think the way that she acted after that was made just so stupid. In a better universe,